Hello and welcome to another lesson. Okay, so today Miss Han is going to present to us some biology topic. What is going to be?
Bioenergetic.
Bioenergetic, right? Wait, I thought you would be doing Mendelian laws and their application and something like that.
No, I actually haven't done that yet.
Okay, then do bioenergetic then. This is one of the hardest part. But if you can do it, why not? Please. You can start now.
So I'm going to talk about the ATP. It is the energy currency of cells.
Of
So
the cell.
of the cell, ATP has three subunits. It has a 5-carbon ribose sugar, a nitrogenous base, as we call adenine, and a 3-phosphate group. So if we combine a 5-carbon ribose sugar with a nitrogenous base, and then we will get a nucleoside. So also we call it adenosine. And a 3-phosphate group is triphosphate. So now we have triphosphate and adenosine. So that's why ATP is called adenosine triphosphate.
All right.
One thing is like outside of this topic, but a nucleotide has 3 parts. It has a ribose sugar.
Three parts.
Yeah, a nucleotide has 3 parts. It has a ribose sugar, a nitrogenous base, which is like similar to ATP, but it has a phosphate group. So ATP is a nucleotide, but it has 3 phosphate group instead of 1. The function of ATP is the energy currency of all cells. So cells use ATP, use the energy stored in ATP to power necessary activities, such as driving endogenic reactions, actively transporting substance across membranes. So we can see cells as a form of short-term energy storage. And one thing I want to mention is that the energy stored in ATP can be found in the high energy phosphate bonds. And the phosphate bonds, they are very unstable.
What is the name of that phosphate bond that you're talking about? It's called phosphor diester bond, which is a specialized kind of covalent bond. Nó là một cái dạng mà liên kết hóa trị đặc biệt thôi, nó tên gọi là the phosphodiester bond.
Yeah. So they always ready to react. They have a low activation energy.
Đúng rồi, năng lực kích hoạt của nó thấp.
Yeah. So how does ATP work? So the way it released is high store potential energy is by releasing a phosphate group. So I have 2 equations here.
Okay, what kind of equation do you have?
Yeah, the first one is
right. You can basically. I think it's better if I allow you to share your screen. You can share your screen now. I think.
Yeah, không có đến này á thầy.
Oh, I thought you have something to share.
Yeah, không, em đọc.
Never mind that.
Yeah.
All right, tell me about equation.
We have ATP, and with the help of water and Water
It's a hydrolysis, nó là một cái sự thủy phân.
Yeah.
Hydrolysis,
Yeah,
yes.
And the products we will get is are ADP plus a phosphate group and energy. So the energy that we get, some of these are used to drive chemical reactions, and some of it will be lost as heat. That is heat. So this kind of reaction is called exergonic reaction.
Exergonic. Or we can't call them exothermic, you know.
Exergonic, yeah.
Let's use the word exothermic, okay? Tỏa nhiệt.
Yeah. It's release energy, and the reverse equation here we got is
energy input.
Yeah. We get ATP and plus water, and is going to form ADP or adenosine diphosphate.
Diphosphate. Which one?
ADP. Diphosphate plus a phosphate group plus energy.
Right.
And that's we called a dehydration synthesis.
Dehydration, this is loại nước thôi. Tổng hợp và cách loại nước. Yeah. Dehydration synthesis. Interesting. That's like it's a long time ago I heard that name, you know.
And this kind of reaction is called endergonic reaction. It's reversed to exergonic reaction.
Right.
And where does ATP present? So ATP is produced in mitochondria, which can be found mitochondria.
Mitochondria. No. Slowly. Chondria.
Yeah. Mitochondria. Yeah. Thank you so much. ATP is produced in mitochondria, which can be found inside of cells. And I want to briefly go through to talk briefly about how ATP is made. So we have the enzyme called ATP synthase.
Synthase.
Yeah.
ATP synthase.
Synthase.
It's an enzyme that synthesizes ATP, right?
Yeah. So this enzyme is responsible for the production of ATP. It is a protein that is embedded in the inner membrane of the mitochondria.
Right.
So nó có cái there's a process. Yeah, there's a process.
There's a process
called chemiosmosis. I think.
Chemiosmosis.
So we have ADP. Yeah, we have ADP plus with a phosphate group, and it's going to form ATP, and that process is called chemiosmosis.
Chemiosmosis, right?
And there are two driving forces here. the concentration gradient. Gradient.
Concentration gradient. Sự chênh lệch nồng độ hai bên.
Yeah.
Concentration gradient.
Yeah.
Gradient.
Gradient. Cái chemical osmosis đúng không ạ?
Chemical osmosis, yeah, chemical osmosis.
Yeah.
Sự thẩm thấu hóa chất, yeah, chemical osmosis.
And we also have something called electrostatic force, which is hydrogen ions will be attracted to the negatively charged mitochondrial matrix.
Mitochondria, yes.
Yeah, so I think that is all I know about ATP. Do I need to add something?
Well, is ATP the only energy molecules that the cell can use? Nó có phải là cái phân tử năng lượng duy nhất mà cơ thể có thể sử dụng không? Or we have other kind of molecules as well? Because no, the answer is no, because you also have GTP, okay?
GTP.
Because instead of adenosine triphosphate, you have guanosine triphosphate as well, which is 1 GTP is equivalent to 2 ATPs in terms of energy. It's like it double the amount of energy released when you use them, you know. Giống như một cái ATP khi mà nó tách rời ra thành là GDP cộng với nhóm phosphate, nó thải ra gấp đôi số lượng năng lượng so với lại cái ATP nó bị phá hủy. So clearly ATP is quite abundant in the cell, yes, but it's not the only, okay, not the only energy molecule of the cell, okay?
Yeah.
You have to understand that.
Yeah, but why do they not mention about GPT?
Because GTP is basically much less abundant. Nó không có nhiều như vậy. It's much less abundant, you know. And in the textbook, I don't think they mentioned that much, but when you look at biochemistry subject, you will see it.
Yeah.
Môn biochem, môn sinh hóa, môn hóa sinh chứ.
Yeah.
You will see that later. But just to make it clear, okay, ATP is not the only energy currency of the cell, okay? It's not the only one, not the only. Nó không phải cái phân tử năng lượng duy nhất mà cái tế bào nó sẽ xài được đâu nha.
Yeah.
Alright, so talking about a process of creating ATP, you should talk about like glycolysis, Krebs cycle, and electron transport chain, chuỗi truyền electron. You should talk about how they are made, you know. It's a huge part.
Nó cũng không bài trong cái phần này đúng không thầy?
Nó nằm trong cái đó luôn đó nha. Well, because glycolysis, nó có cái phần glycolysis nè. They didn't talk about Krebs cycle and electron transport chain, but I think if you can mention that, it's good too. You need time to prepare for it.
Dạ, cái electron transport chain nó là cái step cuối cùng của
đúng rồi. Electron transport chain nó diễn ra ở cái lớp màng ngoài đi vào trong lớp màng ngoài của ti thể. The outer membrane of the mitochondria. That's where electron transport chain happens.
Yeah.
Have you heard about it?
No, I think I forgot about it.
Okay, Krebs cycle. Have you heard about it? Of course, you had, right?
Yeah.
Cái step, cái electron transport chain có nhớ nó liên hệ là cái gì? So we have ATP synthase. You talk about it already, I think. And the movement of H plus into the cell. Sự di chuyển của H cộng vào trong cái sorry, not the cell. The movement of H plus into the mitochondria. Sự chuyển động H cộng vào trong cái ti thể chẳng hạn.
Yeah.
I know what else. it drives the production of a lot of ATP. Nó sẽ lái cái chuyện mà tạo rất nhiều ATP nha.
Yeah.
Okay, like for example, I can show you electron transport chain. You can see so many pictures, complicated pictures. So citric acid cycle happened in the matrix of the mitochondria, right? Đó.
Yeah.
Or we call citric acid cycle is the same as Krebs cycle. Nó là cùng một cái cycle thôi, nhưng mà nó chỉ gọi là khác tên thôi. Chu trình citric acid hay là còn gọi là chu trình Krebs á, nó y chang nhau thôi. Nó diễn ra trong cái chất nền của ti thể. It happened in the matrix of the mitochondria. Glycolysis happened in the tế bào chất cytosol of the cell.
Yeah.
Electron transport chain happened between the membrane of the mitochondria, okay? Giữa những cái màng của cái ti thể nha. So the movement of H plus out and in actually drives the ATP synthase. Cái sự di chuyển của cái H cộng đi vào nó sẽ lái cái chuyện mà cái ATP synthase này nó diễn ra. Oh, give me HD please. Có HD không nhỉ? No, I don't think they have HD, no.
Đây gọi HD thử.
No, there's no HD picture. Okay, hopefully if I show this picture on, there won't be any problem. Anyway, so basically here, what happened here, it's after the Krebs cycle, the H plus moves out of the cell. Sau quá trình electron transport, quá trình Krebs á, thì cái H cộng nó diễn ra do cái sự là chuyển đổi từ NAD H thành là NAD cộng, NAD D cộng, nó sẽ tạo thành H cộng, nó đi ra ngoài tế bào, nó đi ra ngoài cái ti thể. So the H plus arrives out of the mitochondria and then it build up, nó sẽ xây dựng nó một đống H plus here. It build up a lot of H plus here, and then what happened next is that there's an ATP synthase over here. Nó có một cái nó gọi là ATP synthase để nó tổng hợp ATP á. So there's a lot of ADP and free phosphate group here. Có rất nhiều cái ADP và cái nhóm phosphate tự do ở đây. Nó chỉ sẵn sàng nó chờ nó có điện là nó tạo thành ATP thôi. They just wait until they can be converted to ATP, you know. So when the H plus enter the cell through the ATP synthase, it drives the production of ATP. Cái sự mà chạy vào của cái H cộng này nè, nó chạy vào theo đúng cái nồng độ chênh lệch chứ, tại vì bên ngoài rất là nhiều H cộng, bây giờ nó đi vô thì là nó sẽ lái cái sự mà nó tạo ra cái năng lượng để nó tạo thành cái ATP này nè. The movement of H plus actually provide the energy for the production of ATP here. You can see it. Okay, this is the electrotransport chain, I think. And maybe it's good if I give you this picture, or maybe it's a moment. I think there's a picture before that in Wikipedia. But I think the other picture is just so complicated. No, never mind. I think this picture is actually the best, even though it's not in HD, you know.
Yeah.
Nói chung là qua mấy cái chu trình á, citric acid cycle chẳng hạn, thì là mấy cái NAD H với lại NAD gì đó, nó sẽ trả cái H cộng ra ngoài. Mấy cái chất mà để dẫn truyền proton này nè, H cộng này nè, nó sẽ trả cái H cộng ra ngoài để nó xây dựng nguyên một đống H cộng ở cái bề mặt ngoài của ti thể. Thì khi mà cái ATP synthase này nó mở ra thì cái đống H cộng nó đi vô lại và nó sẽ lái cái sự tạo thành ATP thôi.
Nó sẽ lại như thế nào rồi thầy? Kiểu mình có ADP với lại là một gốc phosphate.
Nó giống như là khi mà cái chuyển động của những cái H+ á, đi vào á, nó sẽ cung cấp một cái lượng năng lượng. It's like the movement of the H plus through the ATP synthase. It can provide some energy to produce ATP. Listen, that is all I know, okay? Then this is the depth of what you should know too. Nó chỉ sau đến mức đó thôi. Còn cái vụ mà nó lấy như thế nào, well, you have to go through like biochem. Okay, and then you should talk about glycolysis, 10 steps, and Krebs cycle as well to produce ATP. Ready?
Okay, that part is in the cell respiration, right?
Yes. Cái electron transport chain nó cũng là một cái phần cuối cùng của cái cellular respiration nha. It's the last part of cellular respiration.
Yeah, and the
it
cell
requires a lot of, it requires oxygen, okay? Nó cần rất là nhiều oxy luôn á. Krebs cycle also require oxygen, but glycolysis does not require oxygen, okay? Cái đường phân nó không cần oxy nha, nhưng mà hai cái còn lại là cần lắm á. Okay, you should talk about it now.
I think that is all I know about ATP. I might lack two parts. That is, you call it the Krebs cycle.
Or you can call it citric acid cycle if you want to.
Yeah.
I mean, you got if you talk about glycolysis, it's enough. I think right now it's enough. Ở cái giai đoạn này thì là chỉ cần đến glycolysis thôi. I think.
So before I go deep into glycolysis, I want to briefly go through a little bit about respiration. So cell respiration is broken up into 4 different stages, and one of the first stage is glycolysis. So as you have mentioned before, we have glycolysis, pyruvate oxidation, Krebs cycle, and ETC, also known as the electron transport chain. So each stage it occurs in different places. So for example, with glycolysis, it occurs in cytosol. With pyruvate oxidation, it occurs inside the mitochondria. For Krebs cycle, it occurs inside the mitochondrial matrix. And the electron transport chain, it occurs in the inner membrane of the mitochondria. So and glycolysis is the first stage of respiration, and it occurs in both an aerobic and anaerobic respiration. So what happened in glycolysis?
Glycolysis.
Yeah.
Glycolysis.
In glycolysis, a glucose molecule is taken into cell and is converted into 2 molecules of pyruvate. So the main substrate for respiration here is glucose. So molecules of pyruvate. So pyruvate is a 3 carbon molecule, which is used differently in aerobic and anaerobic respiration.
Yes, exactly, because pyruvate will be converted to lactic acid or lactate in case there's not enough oxygen, right? That's called fermentation.
Yeah.
And for pyruvate, in case there's enough oxygen, it will be converted to acetyl coenzyme A, acetyl CoA, right?
Yeah. So
So basically, I was talking about like lactic acid is basically related to the pyruvate you are talking about, or pyruvic acid.
Yeah.
Nó liên quan nha, nó có liên quan nhau nha.
Yeah.
Because they are both 3 carbon molecules. Nó đều là những phân tử có 3 carbon. But pyruvic acid, it's a keto acid, which means it has a ketone and an acid group. Ok, nó có nhóm ketone và nhóm acid trong đó. Nhớ đó đi. Xong rồi sau này học môn med chem á, mình sẽ nhớ được cái cách viết được cái cấu trúc của nó. So it has a ketone and an acid group, but a lactic acid, it's basically a hydroxy acid. Okay, so it has an OH group and an acid group. Đó, nhớ được cái này mình sẽ viết được cái cấu trúc của nó nè. Just remember this, and you can draw a structure easily.
I also kind of like remember the pyruvate acid and pyruvic acid and pyruvate. There is a difference between them. So a pyruvic acid contains a methyl group with a carbonyl group and carboxylate group, I think. And when we want to change a pyruvate acid into pyruvate, we need to take away hydrogen, and the OH at the end will become an oxygen for negative charge. Is it correct?
Say again, I don't quite get at that part.
Cái công thức của cái pyruvate đó thầy. Yeah.
Here, let me show you. Nó đơn giản lắm. Pyruvate. Look at this one. Đây, cái phân tử pyruvate nó có 3C đúng không? Anyway, I think it's better if I show you through like whiteboard. Okay, do you see my whiteboard now?
Yeah.
Có thấy cái bảng trắng không? You see it?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, good. So pyruvate, as I said, it's a keto acid and a 3 carbon. Let's see 3 carbon first, okay? 3 carbon trước đã. And it's a keto acid, so it has a ketone group. A ketone group can only be found in the middle of molecules, right? Ketone phải được tìm thấy ở ngay giữa cái phân tử, right?
Yeah.
So right here, ketone group. And it also is an acid. So you can see a COOH group here, right?
Yeah.
That's it. And now you fill in the missing hydrogen. Bây giờ vẽ vô mấy cái hydrogen thiếu thôi. So basically, this is pyruvate or pyruvic acid, if you say it. This is pyruvic acid. Okay. So what happened here? We have a lactic acid. So how do you write it? Lactic acid. My writing is horrible here because I'm not used to it. Anyway, lactic acid is also 3 carbon. 3 carbon, right? And you know it's a hydroxy acid. So it means it has a hydroxy group, right?
Yeah.
Nó có nhóm OH nha, nhưng mà nằm ở đâu? Hydroxy acids. But where is the hydroxy? Let's check the word lactic acid. here. You can see the COH, nhóm axit nè, hydroxy nè, ngay giữa luôn. It's right in the middle. So where's my board? Here. So acid group here and hydroxy right in the middle, isn't it? And you fill in the missing hydrogen và vẽ vô mấy cái hydrogen thiếu thôi. It's that simple, right?
Yeah.
Now, so what happens here? From pyruvic acid to lactic acid, what do you see? It's gaining more hydrogen, right? Từ cái pyruvic acid thành lactic acid em thấy nó thêm hydrogen đúng không?
Yeah.
Nó cộng thêm H đúng không? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Cộng thêm H tức là cộng thêm H tức là sự khử, mất đi oxygen, hay là cộng thêm H tức là sự khử. So basically when you gaining hydrogen, it's basically is reduction. It's a reduction, which is an environment that try to remove the oxygen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or adding hydrogen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Môi trường khử, môi trường loại bỏ oxy, hoặc là môi trường cho cộng H cộng vô. Thì bây giờ nếu mà trong trường hợp em thiếu oxy đi thì nó là môi trường khử còn gì nữa. Thì từ pyruvic acid nó sẽ biến đổi thành lactic acid, isn't it?
Yeah.
You understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Right. So in a case of pyruvic acid, when you don't have enough oxygen in the environment, it's a reduction. It's a reducting environment. So reduction will happen and it become lactic acid. All right. This is a very simple example that shows the relationship between the two molecules. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe have you written this one down? Viết này vô chưa em?
No.
And never mind. If you watch the video, you'll see it anyway. So right, let me share again screen. Okay, please continue with whatever you left off, wherever you left off.
Yeah. So in glycolysis, glucose is going to convert it into two molecules.
To be converted into.
Is converted into two molecules of pyruvate. And in this process, we have two. In beginning, we have two ADP, and at the end we have two ATP. And also, there's a change that is we have two NAD plus is reduced into two NADH. Yeah. And the process from ADP to ATP is called substrate level phosphorylation. Yeah. Phosphorylation is
phosphorylation là cái sự gắn nhóm phosphate vô.
Yeah. Adding a phosphate group.
Yes, adding a phosphate group, exactly. So the opposite is called dephosphorylation, you know. Cái quá trình ngược lại là nhóm loại bỏ phosphate ra, tức là dephosphorylation thôi. It's the opposite direction. Remove that phosphate group. Yeah.
And we also have another type of phosphorylation in this area. That is oxidative phosphorylation, but it occurs in the beginning of ETC, which is the electron transport chain. So I think we can mention that later.
Yes.
And
môi trường có nhiều oxy và gắn với phosphate nha, đó là sau này mới được. Tại vì cái glycolysis nó đâu cần oxy đâu.
Yeah.
So basically, glycolysis does not need oxygen, so you don't mention that name, oxidative.
Yeah. I will go a little bit about redox reaction in living organism because I think I passed them.
Okay, please do.
So redox reaction are energy capturing and energy releasing processes that largely consist of oxidation and reduction reactions.
Okay.
And we have oxidation and reduction. Oxidation is the loss of electron, whereas the reduction is the gaining of electrons. So these two processes require the transfer of electrons.
Wait a moment. Are you sure? You said oxidation is a loss of electron, right?
Yeah.
Oxidation, sự oxy hóa là cái sự tăng số oxy hóa lên. Đúng rồi, tăng số oxy hóa lên tức là mất E, đúng rồi. Yeah, true, correct. Oxidation is the increase in oxidation number, which means the loss of electron. Correct.
Yeah, I think for this is quite like rất là kiểu dễ nhầm lẫn.
Yeah, of course, it's confusing. Yes, I know.
Yeah. But so I try to clarify. There are 4 ways to, to sign oxidation or reduction. So with oxidation, we can call oxidation state goes up, or the loss of electrons, or the gain of oxygen, and the loss of hydrogen. And for the reduction is reverse. Yeah. So for example, we have the equation of NAD plus changed into NADH. So here we have 2 ways to figure it out. It is oxidation or reduction. First, we look at the oxidation state. So NAD plus, it has positive 1, while the NADH is oxidation state is 0. So positive 1 to 0 is obviously decrease, and we can conduce to it is a reduction. In another way, we can see that NAD plus, it has no hydrogen,
right?
Yeah, and while the NADH, it has 1 hydrogen atom, so it is the gain of hydrogen. So we can call it reduction too. So the total equation of it will be NAD plus and hydrogen, and there are 2 electrons, and it's going to form NADH. That is the full equation of NAD plus to NADH. So here we have on the left, we have 2 electrons. So whenever we see electrons on the left side of the chemical reaction, it is reduction. And if electrons are on the right side, is oxidation. For example, we have the conversion of glucose into pyruvate is an oxidation reaction.
How do you know that?
Yeah, I'm going to explain that deeply into the back to the glycolysis.
Glycolysis.
Yeah, glycolysis. So in so glycolysis is the first stage of respiration. Glycol means it refers to carbohydrate, and lysis it means split apart. So
what else?
Glycolysis has 10 steps, but I wonder if it would be possible to explain it all.
Okay, so glycolysis 10 steps, okay? And then we have two main stages. The first 5 steps, it's called investment.
Yeah.
Or, you invest 2 ATP in there. And finally, at the last 5 steps, you have the compensation of 4 ATP. So the net is you have 2 ATP produced from glycolysis. Lúc đầu 5 cái bước ban đầu là nó phải đầu tư vô 2 cái ATP nha.
Yeah.
Xong rồi 5 cái step cuối thì nó tạo ra được 4 ATP. Cho nên là tổng lại thì chỉ tạo được có 2 ATP thôi trong nguyên cả 10 step của glycolysis nha.
Yeah. So the first half is from step 1 to step 5 is called investment phase. So in this phase, we need to invest ATP molecules to get glycolysis. So we're going to lose 2 ATP molecules. And with the second half from step 6 to step 10 is a payoff phase. So we're going to get 4 ATP molecules. So in total, at the end, glycolysis has a net gain 2 ATP molecules per glucose molecule. And there's also a very important part in glycolysis, that is enzymes. So of all 10 steps in glycolysis, each step will always go with some enzyme. So there are, I think there are, I can sort them into 3 kinds of enzyme. We have kinase enzyme. So this kind of enzyme is associated with the transfer of phosphate group. So it how do I say that? Catalyze the transfer of phosphate group. So we have step 1, 3, 7, and 10. It has a kinase enzyme. Kinase enzyme. They are hexokinase, phosphofructokinase. The 7 is phosphorylated kinase, and the last one is step 10, pyruvate kinase.
A lot of steps. I know, right? I know, it's because of my video. I was very clear to show like all the steps, but that is actually not really what you should. I mean, that's too much for an entrance examination, but you will need that for medical chemistry, okay? Medchem là cần nó nha.
Chemical.
Medchem, cái môn medical chemistry á, môn hóa của ngành y á.
Yeah.
Của năm nhất á. Medchem you will need it. But in the scope of an entrance exam to medical school, I don't think you have to be that deep, you know.
Yeah.
I see. But good that you dig deep in that, you know. Very good. Right.
Yeah, because I don't know like how much would be enough. So
You know,
Like,
it's never enough. Really, it's like with medicines, nothing is enough.
Yeah.
Đối với y khoa có cái gì là đủ đâu.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to talk about the photosynthesis.
All right, photosynthesis. Two main what is it called? Two main process. The first is a light dependent reaction, and the second one is a light independent reaction. Một cái đầu tiên là pha sáng phụ thuộc vào ánh
Yeah.
sáng, còn cái là một pha không phụ thuộc ánh sáng, tức là pha tối.
Yeah.
So light dependent and light independent processes. Mà bên trong nó còn những cái process nhỏ nữa cơ.
Yeah.
Inside those processes, there are smaller processes. Ví dụ như chương trình tách nước, like inside of light dependent you have what is called photolysis. Tách nước bằng ánh sáng. Photolysis. You also have another electron transport chain. Nó cũng có electron transport chain của nó nha, trong cái quang hợp á, để tạo ra ATP nữa nha.
Yeah.
Cho nên cái quang hợp thì mới nói là một trong những cái mà khó nhất trong nguyên cái đống này luôn á, trong tất cả topic này luôn á.
Yeah,
cái gì chương trình không phụ thuộc ánh sáng pha tối, nó là Kelvin cycle. You sure you're gonna talk about it?
Yeah, but I think I will miss some parts. I think,
Of course you
but
will,
anyway.
trust me. But
Yes.
when we do the exam question, we will see.
Yeah. So, photosynthesis. So,
Photosynthesis.
synthesis.
Photosynthesis.
Yeah, photosynthesis. So, photo means light, and synthesis means to build something. So, photosynthesis is let's imagine that we have a plant. So the water and minerals go into plants by roots in soil, and carbon dioxide, they enters the leaves of the plant through the tiny openings known as stomata.
Stomata, khí khổng, stomata.
Yeah, nhưng mà khi em học bữa nay em có nhớ là sinh học nó có hai cái là khí khổng với lại là một cái nữa đúng không thầy?
What do you mean?
But anyway, I will do the research later, I think.
Stomata, khí khổng. Nó là cái lỗ để cái là cái lỗ trên mặt lá để mà cho hơi nước bốc hơi nha. It's a hole on the leaf so that water can evaporate through. Okay.
Yeah. And oxygen leave the plants through those same openings also, those stomata. So water and carbon dioxide enter the plant, and the plant release oxygen. So photosynthesis happened in an organelle called chloroplast. So the chloroplast is the organelle that
chloroplast chứ phải là chloroplast nha. Chloroplast. Chloroplast, ba âm thôi nha. Chloroplast.
Chloroplast is the organelle that carries out the photosynthesis. So, by the way, the organelle that is responsible for cellular respiration is mitochondria. Yeah, and we can say that the photosynthesis is reverse to the cellular respiration. So the pigment that is responsible for observing light energy is known as chlorophyll.
Chlorophyll, chất diệp lục chlorophyll. Nhưng mà ngoài cái đó ra nó còn nhiều cái chất khác nữa nha, chất màu khác nữa nha. Like beside from chlorophyll, you have chlorophyll A, chlorophyll B, and other things.
Yeah. Do I need to go deep into that?
I don't think you have to.
Yeah. So chlorophyll is found in an organelle called thylakoid. So
Thylakoid. Many thylakoid become granum. And many thylakoid they stack on each other to become granum. Nhiều cái thylakoid nó chồng lên nhau mới tạo thành cái cục granum. And grana is the plural form of granum. You know, there are many grana. Cái dạng số ít số nhiều hay granum grana thôi. Nhiều cái thylakoid nó chồng lên nhau nó tạo cái granum. Và nhiều cái granum thành grana thôi. Số nhiều.
Yeah. So the one step of thylakoid is known as granum, and as you say, the plural of granum is grana.
Exactly.
Lumen is the fluid inside of the thylakoid. And stroma is the fluid inside of the chloroplast. The chloroplast has two membranes. It has the inner membrane and the outer membrane, and between the inner membrane and outer membrane is the intermembrane space. And one thing to notice is that the chlorophyll absorb red and blue line, whereas it reflects green line, and that's why the plant has a green. So I want to go deep into how does the photosynthesis happen? How does it work? So a photosynthesis can be broken into two stages. We have the light-dependent reactions and the light-independent reactions, also known as dark reactions or Calvin cycle. So the light-dependent reaction, it occurs inside the thylakoid within the chloroplast, and the dark reaction or Calvin cycle, it occurs in the stroma of the chloroplast. So when I learn about this lesson, I curious about how do we have the word called dependent and independent here, and I found out that is because in the light dependent reaction, they can proceed without the assistance of light. Yeah, the half of the light. So in the light dependent reactions, it oxidizes water into oxygen gas.
Yeah, and oxygen gas become a waste product.
Yeah.
Oxygen thực sự là một cái waste product của cây cối. Oxygen become a waste product with that one. When water is broken down with light into oxygen gas and H+. Cái H cộng nó bị đi ra thì nó đi đâu? Where does the H+ go? It go into the electron transport chain, you know. Cái H cộng nó sẽ đi đến mấy cái chuỗi chuyền ở trong á để nó tạo ATP. Hoặc là một cái đường nào đó khác. If I remember right, the H+ after being produced from breaking down the water, it will go to electron transport chain to create ATP. If I remember right. let's say hydrolysis. Photolysis of water, and then yes, this H plus will come to NAT P, and then NAT P become NAT PH2 if I remember right. Nó gọi là reduce NAT P á. NAT P được khử, tức là thêm H cộng vô, H2 vô, and then this one will go somewhere. I think it will go to the electron transport chain if I remember right. Nó sẽ chở cái H cộng đi đâu? Nó chở H cộng đi vô cái chỗ mà chuỗi truyền electron á. I think so. To create ATP, I think. Nè, cái này là cái quang, cái gì ta? Sự phá vỡ dưới tác động ánh sáng của nước nè. Oxygen là waste product nè. H cộng thì mà được use cho NADP nè. Còn electron nó dư ra được sử dụng như là thay thế cho mấy cái photosystem, nó gọi là hệ thống photosystem 1 và 2 gì đó. It's very complicated, to be honest with you. Very complicated. Alright, nó có mấy cái photosystem lận, 1 và 2. Anyway. Alright, and let's move on now, shall we?
So the oxidation involves the loss of electrons. So there has to be a reduction reaction in here. So we have water is reduced, is oxidized into oxygen gas, and in this phase, there's also a reaction of NADP plus. It lost electrons to reduce into NADPH. And some of the energy that is transferred by light is used to make ATP in here. So we have ADP plus phosphate group. It's going to form ATP.
Right.
So ATP, it is produced by chemiosmosis.
Nó là thẩm thấu hóa học. Yeah, chemiosmosis.
Yeah, using an enzyme that I have mentioned before called ATP synthase. So the whole picture in here is that we have the reactants are light, water, NADP plus, and ADP plus phosphate group, and the products of this reaction is oxygen, ATP, and NADPH.
Reduce NADPH actually.
Reduce.
Never mind. Don't worry about it.
And so now let's come to the light independent reactions, also known as the Calvin cycle. So the Calvin cycle, it takes in the carbon dioxide and it reduced into sugar, such as glucose. So because it is reductive process, so oxidation has to be happen somewhere. So in this reaction, we have the NADPH. It oxidized back into NADP plus. So it gives up its electrons. So it turned to NADP plus. Also, we have ATP is used to power that process. So ATP is converted into ADP plus phosphate. So like it's reversed to the light dependent reactions that we have discussed before. So on and on, we have carbon dioxide receive those electrons and those energy from ATP and NADP plus, and it turn into glucose.
Okay.
I have drawn a very
You have
clear.
drawn.
I have
Drawn.
I have drawn
Draw,
a very
drill, drawn. You know, I have drawn.
I have drawn a very clear picture of the link between the light dependent reactions.
Light independent reaction.
Yeah, but it's kind of like hard to explain in here.
I know it's hard to explain because it's hard, okay? Okay, hold
This is
on.
hard.
Okay, let's look at the picture. Alright. Chemical equation. No, not this one. Processes.
Process.
Nó nhiều kinh khổ, nó khó hiểu lắm luôn không đâu. It's actually hard. Okay. I'm trying to find a picture that it's HD. And they said this is simplified. Cái này là đơn giản hóa rồi đấy.
Really?
And they said it is simplified already. Oh my god.
Wow.
See. This is chloroplast. Okay, this is thylakoids or grana. And see, this is a light coming in and then oxygen being produced. Tắt nước đây nè. This is where hydrolysis, photolysis of water happens. And then what happens? Calvin cycle here. Not cell hydro, and then you produce through the steps. Oh, just produce sugar, okay? Starch and then sugar. Còn cái sugar này tại sao cây cối nó sản xuất? Why does the plant produce sugar? Because basically this sugar can be used for glycolysis, for normal activity of the cell to produce ATP, something like that, you know. Vốn cái tế bào cây cối nó cũng phải tiêu thụ đường để mà nó tạo ATP các thứ để nó dùng cho các quá trình của nó. Nhưng mà cái khác một cái là tế bào cây cối, plant cell, nó tự sản sinh ra đường được nha. Nó là quan tự dưỡng. So basically plant cells are autotrophs. A moment. They are autotrophs, which means they can produce its own food. Nó tự tạo đồ ăn được luôn, tự tạo thức ăn. They can produce its own food from like sunlight and things like that. They do not need to eat or kill other species, you know, không cần ăn những con khác để sống. But animals, they are heterotrophs. They need to eat plants to survive, you know, or to eat each other to survive.
Yeah.
Cái con còn lại nó là quang dị dưỡng. Cái con còn lại gọi là dị dưỡng. Tại vì sao? Hetero là dị, khác biệt đó.
Yeah.
Nó phải ăn cây hoặc là nó ăn nhau để mà nó sống, nó lấy năng lượng. Nhưng mà cái cây cối là autotrophs, nó tự động nó sản sinh ra sugar được luôn. Để cho những cái quá trình của nó nè, em thấy không? Glycolysis là đó, đường phân nè. Xong rồi what else? Acetyl CoA nè, đi vô cái trong cơ ti thể. Thế này là TCA. What is TCA? Tricyclic acid cycle. It's the same as citric acid cycle or the same as Krebs cycle. Ba cái đó bằng nhau nha. Nó chỉ tên gọi khác nhau để làm confuse mình thôi, nhưng thật sự bản chất nó là nhau nha. It's just different naming, but it's the same thing. Just to confuse you. TCA, citric acid cycle, or Krebs cycle is the same thing. And then what else do we have? The cell can use fatty acids as fuel as well. Thật sự là cái cây cối hay là các tế bào nó đều có thể sử dụng là axit béo để mà tạo ra năng lượng nha. Cho nên là chất béo có thể dùng để tạo năng lượng được nha. Nè, ví dụ chất béo nè, glycerol nè, các thứ nè, nó tách ra, nó đi vô cái quá trình đường phân này, nó đi tiếp nè. hoặc là fatty acids nó có thể biến đổi thành beta oxidation ở trong cái chương trình Krebs này để nó xài tiếp như năng lượng được. Cho nên không chỉ có đường là năng lượng đâu, nó có thể dùng là protein, nó có thể dùng fat là năng lượng được luôn á. You can actually use fat or protein as energy because they can break down and add and aid or help in any of these steps, you know. Any of these steps. Anyway, please go on with the next one.
Cái đỏ cần phải tìm hiểu kỹ không thầy?
Say again?
Like, do we need to go deep into that part? Because I felt like
This one?
I feel like
No,
this
you don't have to because this is too deep. Quá sâu rồi.
Yeah.
All right.
But,
I don't know, but the results should come out right now for the Anh. Let me ask. I mean, maybe she's scared to tell. Anyway, let's continue with the next part. What is the next part?
So we have done aerobic respiration, but like let me ask these questions. So like I know that the cellular respiration is contained 4 stages. They are glycolysis, and there are 3.
Glycolysis.
What's wrong with me? Glycolysis, and there are three different there are 3 last stages, but do I need to go to all of them? Like it's kind of like it contains the ETC or the Krebs cycle also, but I feel like, do I need to learn about that also?
No. For fermentation, basically, things just stop at the glycolysis. It doesn't go on anymore.
Yeah.
Cái mà lên men á, nó chỉ stop ở cái glycolysis và thôi, xong nó không đi tới Krebs cycle nữa đâu, nó sẽ ngưng đó luôn. Tại vì cái như thầy nói là cái pyruvate á, lúc đó trong môi trường thiếu oxy nó sẽ biến thành là lactic acid và nó ngưng ở đó luôn, nó không đi tới nữa, nó không đi tới Krebs cycle đâu.
Yeah.
Và sản sinh ra
vì
bao
em
nhiêu
nhớ là
ATP hay?
Yeah, because I remember in high school I've learned about Krebs cycle, but in this syllabus I feel like they didn't like put that
They
in
didn't
the
put that
high
here, but I think you should
prioritized.
remember that as well. You should know it as well.
Yeah.
Nó
Những
giống như
cái
là
the products and the reactions, right?
yeah, at least the products and the reactants, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
No, I think I will look up to that later because I passed them.
All right. Okay, and now would you be able to do other parts here, like reproduction, Mendelian, something?
No, I've just done the aerobic respiration and fermentation.
I know,
Yeah.
but can you do these other part about Mendelian genetics? Mấy cái phần
No,
về
I don't.
Mendel này em có làm nổi không? Hôm nay nè.
No, I don't think so.
Well, I think maybe we should cut the class short today and then we'll do more like another time, shall we?
Yeah, I think this will be more effective.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay, that's the end of my videos. Please like, share this video with your friends, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and press on the bell button next to the subscribe button so you can get notified about my new uploads, okay? You can also press follow my Facebook, but please don't add me on Facebook as friends, okay? Cảm ơn các bạn đã theo dõi nha. Các bạn hãy nhấn vào like, chia sẻ video này bạn bè các bạn. Nhấn vào nút đăng ký kênh YouTube mình và nút cái chuông kế bên cạnh để đăng ký kênh á, để mà các bạn có thể được thông báo về những video mới nha. Các bạn cũng có thể nhấn vào nút theo dõi Facebook mình, nhưng nhớ đừng kết bạn Facebook mình nha. Thank you and see you. Bye.